talent, love.
Saucy and spicy.
When you hear Patti's voice, she blows it out. She blows the house down. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, as a child, I was very shy. I would sing in the bedroom with a broom, pretending the broom was a microphone. And I would throw down. I mean, I was awesome by myself. It usually was a cat or a dog in the room with me, and he would give me the bark of approval, and the cat would say, meow, like I was cool like that. And I would just sing in the mirror with the broom and realize that I could do this if one day I had the chance. So I started practicing as a child to become a singer. The first time I sang with my choir rehearsals, my choir director would not let me sing with the background. I had to go in front. I said, but I don't want to. She said, but you have to. She said, God has blessed you with something that's so special, you can't hide it with the chorus. You have to go out as a solo performer. I said, Miss Chapman, I can't. Honey, she made me one Sunday, and I got a standing ovation. I said, okay, that's cool. I like this. This car dealership in Philadelphia decided to give me the name Patti LaBelle. It means the beautiful. And he didn't see beauty in me when he met me. He was a lying man. He lied a lot. And when we came in to audition for him, he had a record label. His name was Harold B. Robinson. And he had a recording studio in his basement of the car dealership. And when he saw me, he said, oh no, she's too black. She's too ugly. She can't do anything. And my manager said, but we brought them here so that you could hear them. So he said, sing You Never Walk Alone. I sang, and that man almost fell on his knees. He said, oh my God, she's ugly, but she can sing. So I knew that we had to start somewhere, and I couldn't walk away because we had nobody interested but him after he heard my voice. That's how it started. He was overwhelmed with my voice.
The first time she was on the Apollo stage, she was in a group called Patti LaBelle and the Bluebelles, and they were on the stage here at the Apollo in 1962. Her hit was I Sold My Heart to the Junkman, and you know, the crowd absolutely loved her and branded the group as the Apollo Sweethearts. And so that name followed them for some years.
And then, as you know, Cindy Birdsong was with me when we started LaBelle. It was Sarah Dash, Nona Hendricks, Cindy Birdsong, and Patti LaBelle. Diana Ross wanted Cindy Birdsong to replace Florence Ballard, so Cindy left us just standing one night waiting for her to come out and play. And Miss Thing was in Detroit with the Supremes. I said, that's cute. So we went on stage with just the three of us, and we realized that we were going to be the three of us. Let's change our name. And we ended up being three. I said, let's not look for a fourth girl. Let's just stay the way we are. So we learned to harmonize around the voices that we had left. And I was very, very angry. But I said, too, that would I have gone if I had the opportunity to go with the Supremes? They were big. I think Cindy did the right thing because we bubbled under for years. I'm not angry with Cindy Birdsong now. We speak a lot, and I pray for her every day. You know, and she felt a little guilty the way she had to leave, but it was like leave now or never leave. You know, the Supremes had given her that time thing. Get out now, girl, or we're not going to call you back. So she did what she had to do. We created the LaBelle sound out of desperation. When Cindy Birdsong left to go with the Supremes, there was three left. And so we went to London for 6 months to work on our way of singing, the songs that we were gonna do. It was like, we were the first women doing what we did. So we were sort of like pioneers in a sense. We were very out there. With our clothing, I had a little afro, but I would spray with silver spray or whatever. But our clothing, I mean, it was outrageous. And that we all did that for a reason, to get your attention. If we look crazy enough, you're gonna listen to what these crazy ladies have to say. I never left the group. We all left because we couldn't stand each other anymore. We stopped singing together because we didn't like the music that, okay, Nona wanted to do this kind of music, Sarah wanted to do that, and I wanted to do this. So you can't be together if you don't think the same way.
After LaBelle, you know, sort of broke up, everybody was really sad and what's going to happen and where are they? And then she just became Patti LaBelle.
Honey, when I realized that we were separated, that we were like apart for good, and that I had to, if I wanted to sing, go out as a solo performer, because there was two ladies that I knew as good as Sarah or Nona, so why would I get in another group? So I stayed home for like a year until I saw a shrink. And the shrink said, don't be afraid, just go out, take a chance.
I love hearing her sing by herself. And even though I love the other two girls, it's just something Pat just do to people when she sings.
I never got any flack for singing any songs. Never got any flack for doing Lady Marmalade, except, yes I did, from the Nuns, for singing Lady Marmalade. We didn't know what that song was about when we recorded it. I didn't know what Voulez-vous que j'avais meant. I just knew it was a hit. And as far as singing New Attitude and Stir It Up and whatever, those pop-sounding songs, I never got any flack from anyone. Actually, people love those songs.
She was back on the Apollo stage for Motown Returns to the Apollo, which was an amazing program with all of the Motown Revue as well as other groups of that vintage. And then the Apollo celebrated its 70th anniversary, and she was back on the stage, you know, just singing solo and blowing it away.
They're reuniting LaBelle. It says Nona, Sarah, and Patti.
We always spoke about getting back together. And I never had the time to get back. You know, when Sarah and Nona could, I couldn't. Because I had, you know, a lot of things on my plate.
Lenny Kravitz is producing her, and I went over to his house, and all three of them were there.
So we started recording like a month and a half ago, and we have like 12 more songs to do, and we'll be finished, and then we're gonna come in your face, in your place.
We're thrilled, and particularly me, to honor perhaps the most electrifying, most soul-stirring female performer that R&B music has ever known, Miss Patti LaBelle.
Patti LaBelle is different than Patricia Louise Holte. That's the name I was born with. She's very laid back, you know, the other Patti, but the Patti on stage, can't touch that. I just do things on stage. I take chances. When I can't sing, like if I'm a horse, I'll find something else to do, like roll on the floor or kick my shoes off or something. I'm gonna give you a show any way I can. Or I have crazy people come up on stage. Not crazy people, anxious fans. I call them friends first, but they're fans. And they wanna just be in my space. So I give them like 5 minutes. I say, go do your thing, boo.
I met Patti while I was in college, literally running up to the front of the stage when she invited someone on stage and actually hold the mic and start singing as if this was my show. And then she would end up coming over going, give me back my mic, boy.
It's boring to go to a show and you saw that same woman do that same show 3 months ago, and every note is on the same time. She speaks at the same time every night, every show. Well, you can't predict what Patti LaBelle's gonna do, because I don't even know.
She is the best. I never heard anybody like that. She could sing opera. I mean, she's fantastic.
Every time I'm seeing her on stage performing, and it's like I've never seen her before, I'm always crying, but I'm always saying, thank you, Jesus, for putting her into my life.
I grew up in Philadelphia. I was born in Philadelphia. I still live in Philadelphia, so that's like 63 years in Philadelphia. And I live there because that's my family. I have one family member left who still lives in Philly, so I still feel as though I have to be there. Every Christmas, we would paint the white woodworks. That's when I knew it was Christmas. For me, that was my present, the painting of the house. Not what was under the tree, but just smelling that paint. It was just like a ritual. Every Christmas Eve, we would paint the house. I wouldn't. Somebody would, but I would smell the paint, and that made me know it was Christmas. I'm a very, very laid-back, easy mother. I don't feel like beating my son. I never did when he was a little boy because I didn't give him enough time because I was always on the road. So whenever I would get back, I would just let him have his way. But he never really wanted anything. You know, I didn't have to say, no, you can't have that, because he never asked for things. He was going to school with some Docksiders on. His toes were coming out of his shoes. I said, Zori, let me take you and buy you some shoes. Mom, I don't need no shoes. And he had on floods. The little pants were like up here. I said, boo, you need some pants. I'm fine, Mom. He was like a hippie child or something. I don't know what he was. He just didn't care about clothes. Now, he's Mr. Flyboy. It's like he thinks he's so hip now. But back in the day when he was a child, he didn't want anything. And I wanted other kids. I wanted to adopt. And I said, do you mind sharing your home with Stanley and Dot? He said, no. So I adopted 2 brothers. And then my sister Jackie died, and I adopted Billy and Stacy. So I have 5 kids. But it's all because my son is so giving. And he knows that that's not going to take any love from him. And when I did adopt these kids, I realized that it helped me more than it helped them. Because I needed them, but I didn't know how much until they stayed in my life for like a year. I said, I really needed to do that. And that's when my husband and I bought a bigger house, and everybody lived in the bigger house.
As a natural mother, she's giving, she's kind, and she's not like that with just Zuri, but with everyone.
Everywhere we go, everybody's like, she's like a mother to them. She's my mom since I've been with her because I don't never see my mom, but everybody says the same thing. She's like everybody's mom, and a lot of people call her mom.
I was a bad seed, just a bad little girl. I think I brought a lot of joy to them, especially when I sang. My sisters they would beat somebody up for saying I couldn't sing. My sisters all died before they turned 44 of cancer. Colon cancer, lung cancer, and brain cancer. I lost my mother to diabetes. After having both legs amputated at 58, she died in her 60s. I lost my father to Alzheimer's.
Like to lose that many people in your life and not to have anybody around you that you could speak to, like I think that's why she grabs hold to everybody so tight when she meets them.
What I realized after losing them, of course you're gonna cry, but you realize you can't cry forever. You have to keep on keeping on, because they would want me to succeed in life, not to be sad every day and, you know, whoa, it's me, my sisters died. Yeah, they died, but they died like ladies with dignity. I started to branch out at the age of 50 when it came to writing my book, Don't Block the Blessing, because I've been asked to write it like 3 years before I wrote it, because I didn't think I had a book in me. And when I started thinking about the way I grew up, the things that I had hidden from everybody for 50 years, and there's so many things that I've been holding in, it was eating me up, I said, I better let go and let God. So my friend Laura Randolph and I got together and wrote this book. And I talked about things in my life, things that had really bothered me. And it was a cleansing, very, very cleansing.
You see Patti, you know, as a spokesperson for medical diabetes. You see Patti cooking. She has a cookbook.
I love to cook. So I wrote two cookbooks, and then Don't Block the Blessing, and Patti's Pearls. The cookbook, the first one I wrote, was the one that could put you in the hospital. Everything like 12-egg potato salad, 7 cheese macaroni, I mean awesome, fried chicken, everything that I can't eat now, but at the time I could. And then I found out I was diabetic, so then I had to stop cooking that stuff for myself. I still cook it for everybody else, but then I had to come up with some diabetic recipes so that I could save my life. I am very happy to be a spokesperson for everything. When people come to me with everything, I say yes. Alzheimer's, homeless shelters, adopting children, cancer with, oh gosh, a little bit of everything. Because there's 24 hours in a day. You can take 1 hour out of a day and do something for somebody.
Patti LaBelle is probably the most giving person I've ever met before, and the kindest lady that I've ever met before.
She's an offering person. Like everything that she does it like out of her heart. Whatever they bring to the table and ask her to do, she does it.
Patti cares a lot about people because it comes from her heart.
Came to know of her work supporting the LGBT community through my work at GLAAD. The Excellence in Media Award, which Patti LaBelle received this year at our New York Media Awards, is one of our highest honors. It's given to an individual who is straight, who does not have to support gay and lesbian rights, but who stands up for justice, who stands up for equality. And Patti LaBelle has been a tireless advocate, speaking out numerous times. You know, she once said, when I see a gay person denied, I fight. I fight like I fight for my children. When Jennifer Hudson presented Patti LaBelle the award, it was a really amazing moment that capped off a wonderful night.
So I didn't know what to expect. And I said that I hope she's for real, because if she's not, I'm gonna let her have it. And then I'm gonna talk to her and help her out, because I've been around for a while. And I always think that it's my job to talk to the young girls who's coming up.
There was such anticipation all night long for Patti LaBelle, who was, the headliner. And so Jennifer Hudson comes out and presents it, and you almost saw this passing of the torch moment. Patti LaBelle has, through her music, through her work and service as a black woman in the recording industry, has been a trailblazer. So without Patti LaBelle, there is no Jennifer Hudson.
I felt that it was a wonderful moment for me to give Jennifer her props, because that heifer started at the top. You got an Oscar girl the first time out, you know, that's as high as you get. And so I was so happy for her. So it was like I was passing my GLAAD award to her.
The narrative of Patti LaBelle that she talks about, even when she got up on the stage of the GLAAD Media Awards, she talked about how she was a dark-skinned woman and how folks didn't think that she was pretty. And that kind of classic ugly duckling to a swan story is very much part of the narrative of the LGBT community.
As much as we've gone through, the state of America, of Black America, is still pitiful. It's pitiful. I see it every day. And then when they find out I'm Patti LaBelle, that hurts me more. When they say, oh, if I knew it was you, I would have treated you better. That's when you just messed up. You better treat me like a real person first. That Patti LaBelle will mean nothing to me. We're still praying that we can live a better way, that we can be respected every day without having to show what we do. I don't just sing. At Oprah's beautiful home, the Legends Ball, it was something that nobody can describe. All the ladies who were there, all the legends and all the youngins, we would see each other now and we'll say, do you realize what we were into that day? How beautiful. They said, no, Patti, we can't even talk about it. It's like when people ask me, what was it? I can't tell you what the Legends Ball was. It was just a beautiful experience. And Oprah made us all feel like queens. And the youngins, I mean, Janet and Mariah, they were taking care of me like I was their mother. Oprah gave this wonderful thing for them to see all of us ladies who are still here that they can learn from. Not look up to. You don't ever have to look up to me, but you can learn a lot from me.
Like her being the person who she is, she had to build that herself. Like, I don't consider myself working with a celebrity. I consider myself, to me, an icon.
Patti's legacy is the ability to transcend time. You know, she has that amazing voice. She's been able to stay current and to reinvent herself, and she's still relevant, and people love her and can't get enough of her.
Patti's embarking upon some things now that whenever God decides he's ready for her to come on home, leave a big mark here. You know, she's got her star on the Walk of Fame.
I think her legacy will be the tremendous catalog of music that she's been able to produce and the hearts and minds that she's been able to change through the language and love that she's exhibited across race, age, sexual orientation, just around the world.
I would like for my legacy to be that I really started believing in myself at the age of 50. But after 50, I was taking no prisoners and I was kicking all butt.